What's going on? So I wanted to go live, man. It's something that's been on my heart. Um, it's crazy. This subject, and God has been something that I pray for, especially this year, is to be able to answer questions, those difficult questions that a lot of people can't answer. And I pray and ask God to give me the wisdom to be able to answer those questions that may be difficult for some to answer. So, you know, everybody has multiple questions when it comes to belief in the things that they believe, when it comes to God, and it's something I actually pray for. But this particular topic isn't one, it's just a question one of my great mentors had, and I was like, man, it's nothing that I looked up before I've heard it, but it's nothing that I, recently, been looking at until yesterday. So the question was about two verses. Those verses is Isaiah 14 and 12 and Revelations 22 and 16. And he said that he was confused about those two verses and what they meant. So I went and read the verses, and immediately I asked the Lord to give me the revelation of that word. So I'm going to make this video short because I don't want to be drawn out, because I want to get straight to the point. And I pray that it impacts someone's life and they will get a full understanding of what this means. And the first one is Isaiah 14, verse 12. So Isaiah for is the verse is, how you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. I'm going to read that again. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How are you cut down to the ground, you who are weakened the nations. So that's Isaiah 14 and 12. Then the next verse he wanted to know about was Revelations, book of Revelation, which I actually already got them in my phone. I screenshot it so I can make sure I have it. Um, Revelation Revelation chapter 22, verse 16. And it says, I, Jesus, have sent my angels to testify these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. So, if you listen to that, let me see. Let me see, where is it? The bright and morning star is pretty much what they're saying. They're saying Jesus is the morning star, and how is they saying Lucifer is the morning star? Good question. Good question. I was like, okay, Lord, give me the revelation of that. So I'm gonna read this passage again from the King James Version, and I'm gonna read it from the NIV, which is the New International Version that I read. So the King James on Isaiah 14 and 12, how are you? It says, how you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. Now, back to Revelation 22 and 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify the things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. So people wondering, like, how are how are they calling Jesus morning star and Lucifer morning star? It's simple. Actually, the what Psalms gives the answer to that is actually in the Isaiah um, context. You just got to read, the before and the after. So I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna read up a little bit, little ways, and I'm gonna break this thing down. It's because Satan, if you see the topic of this discussion, Satan is the king of perversion. That means Satan wants to pervert everything that the Lord has. He perverts everything that the Lord has. So to answer this question, I do everything on my phone, y'all. To answer this question, I'm going to read Isaiah again. But I'm going to read a little bit ahead of Isaiah instead of reading instead of reading verse 12. I'm going to read a little bit more right up under it that leads up to that point. Let me go into the King James Version. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. So I'm going to read verse 13 because verse 13 really sums it up why they're calling both of those the son of the morning, because Christ is the true son of the morning. Christ is the true, the living. It says in verse 13, for you have said in your heart, I will ascend into the heavens. I will exalt myself. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the far side of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Right there is really your answer. It's telling you right there in Isaiah 13 and 14 that Satan wants to be like Christ, want to be like God. So therefore, him referring to the son of the morning, which are the fallen dawn, I'm going to read the NIV version, because I read from the NIV as well. I'm going to read 12 again. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to earth, you who once laid low of the nations. You have said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of assemblies, on the utmost heights of Mount Zapon. I will ascend above the tops of the cloud. I will make myself like the Most High. It's saying right there that Lucifer wanted to be like God. That's why he was cast out of heaven. He said in his heart, he didn't have to even say it in his mouth because God hears and knows everything. He just said in his heart that he want to be exalted. He want to be like God. He want to be God. So when you go to Revelation, the book of Revelation means reveal. So Revelation is revealing the truth of what Satan has been trying to do, deceive and pervert every single thing that we have. So let's go back to the verse that my brother wanted, which was Revelation chapter 22. Chapter 22, verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angels to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright morning star. Let me read that's the NIV. Let me read the New King James Version. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. So he's telling you Jesus is the truth. And if you read before that verse and after that verse, it explains what Lucifer was trying to be in Isaiah. So I'm going to read you Revelation chapter 14, Revelation chapter 22, verse 14. See, if you read the whole context around the actual verse, the answer is there a lot of the times. So Revelation 22, verse 14, it says, "Blessed are those who do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. But outside are dogs and sorcerers and sexual immoralities and murderers and adulterers and whoever loves and practices a lie." That's verse 14. These are all of Satan's tactics. These are everything that he practiced. Everything that he practiced and practiced and tell a lie. And then 16, I, Jesus, have sent my angels to testify these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Then verse 17 said, and the Spirit and the bride say, come. And let him who hears say, come. And let him who thirsts come. Whoever desires, let him take the water of life freely. God, Jesus just said right there what Satan was doing. He was letting you know that he's the true bright and morning star. He is the son, the true son of the morning. Right here, I'm gonna read the NIV version. It said, blessed are those who wash their robes. And this is verse 14, Revelation 22. Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may grow through the gates into the city. Outside are the dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexual immoralities, the murderers, the adulterers, and everyone who loves to practice falsehood. Satan is the king of falsehood. Satan is the king of perverting everything that's in the word of God. So I took some notes and I asked God, I said, God, what did you want me to say? See, also, when you look at the interpretation of things, and God give me the gift of interpreting dreams and things. So stars represents children. The moon represents mother. The sun is the father. I wrote down these different things about what Satan tactics is. God speaks to us mainly in the morning. How you notice that when you wake up, you just feel like, and this is why dreams are so important, is because we're not worried about what's going on during the day. All of the things, we're resting, and this is when God can download us. This is when Jesus can speak to our heart in the morning. This is why it goes to that, saying that he said he is the true morning star. If you know anybody have any type of spiritual things going on, they know that the Lord speaks to us in the morning. He speaks to us when we're sleeping. Most of the time when he speaks to me is definitely when I'm sleeping, and I'll be highly in the spirit around 3, anywhere from 3 to 6, 7 in the morning. I can just feel his presence, because it's the same as our subconscious mind. This is where all of these things that you learn about come from. When they talk about the subconscious mind, you can let things, because your mind is quiet and God can speak. It can go into our subconscious mind. It can go into our spirit, and he can be able to speak to our spirit. That's where it says the son of the morning. Then look at Satan. Same thing. Look at how many crimes happen at nighttime. Most of the time it's late at night, in the morning. Look at how many deaths happen how many people notice that a lot of deaths happen while you sleep? Then you wake up in the morning, you hear such and such died. This is times that Satan is roaming. This is times that a lot of spiritual activities happen early morning, late nights, early mornings. And Satan is the perversion of the truth. Jesus is the truth. Jesus is the truth. Is the truth. It's another thing I took. Another note that I took, and it's the same. Think about this. It says that Jesus is the lion. It's like the Lion of Judah. Then you catch the verse where it says Satan roams around like a roaring lion, looking to devour. You see what happens is, you see how Satan takes everything and pervert it, and it's in the Word of God. Everything that you need is in the Word of God, and it's all you have to do is ask God, give me the revelation of that, give me the understanding of that. You see how they, Jesus, the Lion of Judah, like compared to the Lion of Judah, is the Lion of Judah. And then they say in another verse, Satan walks around, prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for things he can devour. It's the same as when it talks about the morning star. And that's what God gave me today. Jesus is light. You know, look at all the different religions out here, to throw us off. And Jesus is not about religion. Jesus hated religion. Jesus hated religion because the religious people are who killed them. They talked about all of their beliefs. They talked about this and that. They're the ones that killed the Lord. And that is not of God. A religious spirit is not of God. That is Satan tactics. That is Satan tactics. Lucifer, O son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. You who weaken the nations. You weaken the nations. Right there where it says where he weakened the nations, then Jesus over here says in in um in the King James version of Revelation, he said those who practice lies. Don't fall for the ones who practice lies and falsehood. He just showed you in Revelation where Jesus revealed himself that he is the true son of the morning. Lucifer wanted to be like God. So the Lord in the Word is showing you how that Lucifer, that Satan is pretty much gonna pervert every single thing that God give us. If you look at everything, all of the different religions, all of the different beliefs is based on this Bible. It comes back to this Bible. Just people took things and perverted it and made it theirs and took out this word and took out that. it's that's what those two verses are talking about. So when you hear people say or ask and say comparison, well, how is Jesus the son of the morning? How is Lucifer the son of the morning? That is how. Because Jesus is the truth and the light. Satan is the perverted, of which is the darkness, the lie, the falsehood that Jesus explained in Revelation 14 and 15. Blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may go through the gates into the city. Outside are the dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexual immoralities, the murderers, the adulterers, and everyone who loves and practices falsehood. That's everything that Satan did back in Isaiah. We're gonna definitely talk, bro. We're gonna definitely talk, bro. We definitely gonna talk. So what I was I know you might have missed most of it, and those who just got on, we talking about two verses because it was a great topic. And I prayed and asked God, for those just getting on, we'll go back over because I prayed and asked God to give me the revelation because it's a great topic. Isaiah 14 and 12 says, and I'm gonna read from the King James version first, and then I'm gonna read it from the NIV. The King 14, it said, I will ascend. Hold up. Isaiah 14, verse 12. How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How are you cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations? Lucifer, son of the morning. Let me go to Revelation 22 and 16. I, Jesus, has sent my angels to testify to these things in the church. I am the root, the offspring, the bright, the morning star. So even right there, it's comparing Jesus as the bright morning star, and Satan is the bright, and not the bright, the morning star of the dawn. And what that means is that is how Satan perverts everything of God, every single thing. So the answer is actually there in Isaiah to answer both of those questions, to answer both of them, because it says in verse go back to Isaiah. I wrote this down. I'm gonna read 12 and I'm gonna read verse 13 and 14. So back to 12, it says, "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to earth, you who once laid low in the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the mount of the assembly. I will up on the utmost heights of the Mount Zapin. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High." So what that comparison is, the reason why they gave Satan that title in the word is because Satan comes into the world to pervert everything that Jesus is already doing, everything that Jesus truly is. So when you see those two things, it's showing the difference of the truth versus the lie, how close they are. That's why they say it's a thing. It says a theme line between the truth and witchcraft. Like you got to be careful between the two because they look the same. They look the same. The same. They could just you got a prophet and then you got a psychic. They look the same. But one is not the truth and one is the truth. That's what is the comparison between son of the morning or the morning star from Jesus and from Satan. Then the same context, it speaks about where it says Jesus is the Lion of Judah. Then it comes right back and say Satan prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for what he can devour. So it shows through the word how Satan takes things of God and pervert those things. So I'm gonna read. I read it in the NIV. Let me read Isaiah in the King James version. Verse 12. "How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations." That's verse 12. Then 13 just tells you exactly what Lucifer tactics is. Reason why he got kicked out of heaven. He wanted to be like God. So he was probably calling himself God. He called himself the morning star. So what God showed you, okay, boom, just because he has that title, it's up to us to be able to discern the truth and who is the truth. So verse 13, "For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." Satan is saying he's going to exalt himself above the stars of God. "I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the far side of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High." That's why he got kicked out of heaven, because he think he's God. He think he God. So the word, the truth is Jesus. Satan is just the perverted version of it. And that's why it's in the word for us to see. And like, why are they calling God morning star? And why are they calling Satan morning star? They're showing you how close that thin line is to what Satan perverted and confuses a lot of people. That's why religion is such a bad thing. And when Jesus loves all, he gives all. He wants all of us to be able to love each other and understand. But you get people that got the Bible. You got people that got so many. I'm not gonna call nobody beliefs out, but you got different beliefs that all the word comes from this word. All of the different Bibles, they come from the word, whether it's the New Testament or the Old Testament. It's just different versions, and it's perversion. And those are Satan tactics to pervert the word and to throw us off. These are things that I've been praying for, because I want to be able to answer these questions. So I just, I took notes today. It said Jesus is love, Jesus is light. So a religious spirit think they're doing God's will when it is the enemy, Satan, deceiving and confusing folks, thinking they are worshiping the truth. That's why they will come to Christ. And this, I wrote this is that. That's why they will come to Christ and say, Lord, I did things in your name. And Christ said, away from me, you evildoers. They thought they was doing what God was telling them to do, but they was following Satan tactics. They was listening to the perverted version, still practicing sexual immorality and things of that nature. Then you go back to Revelation. Jesus tell you exactly. Revelation chapter 22 verses 16, which is, I, Jesus, have sent my angels to testify to you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. So, like, people are like, what? I mean, Jesus is morning star. Say, who is the truth? But if you read verse 14 and 15 before we get to 16, 14 said, blessed are those who do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. But outside are dogs, sorcerers, sexual immoralities, murderers, and adulterers, whoever loves and practices lies. I, Jesus, have sent my angels to testify these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star, the truth. The truth. How Satan took the lie. Let me read, that's the King James. Let me read the NIV version. 14, blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life, the right to the tree of life, and may go through the gates into the city. Outside are dogs, those who practice magic arts, the sexual immoralities, the murderers, the adulterers, and everyone who loves and practices falsehood, perversion, fakes, lies, of the truth. That's what he's saying. He really answered what Satan was claiming to be back in Isaiah. Here Jesus in the book of Revelation means reveal. So Jesus is revealing the truth of what it is, the truth, and how Satan has perverted all things. This is why this is the last chapter in the Bible. He reveals and gives us the truth. Right. So that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, bro. God calls him Lucifer, the morning star, in Isaiah. Right, in Isaiah. And the reason why he called him that is because Satan is the perverted version of the truth. The perverted version of the truth. And then when Jesus comes, Jesus is God. Jesus is the truth. It is showing what is showing the thin line of what is perverted versus what is the truth. That's what it's saying. The morning star, all right. So stars also represents the sun. We all know that Satan had a spot in heaven. Satan wanted Jesus' spot. Satan wanted God's spot. So that's what my interpretation of it is. And when I prayed about it, I was like, what is this? Why are they calling both of them that? And it's because the first thing came to me is Satan is perverted. I mean, it's really, he's perverting the truth. And then Jesus come in Revelation and reveal and tell you that he is the morning star. He is the truth. Versus what Satan said, oh, this is the perverted version of it, the son of the dawn. So let me see. Let me see. NIV. How you have fallen from heaven. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. And when I asked that, I was like, son of the, I look and think about what happens to me in the morning, and a lot of others, why we dream morning star represents light, light, aka knowledge. What type of knowledge is the difference? That right there, honestly, what you just said, what type of knowledge is the difference? Whether it's the good knowledge or the evil. The whole thing, is the truth versus the perverted. Both are called the same. They're both called the same in the word, and the reason they're called the same in the word is to ask that question, like what it. Why am I confused? Or what you ask yourself, why is this confusing me when they call them both of them the same? It's because one is the truth and one is just the false. I mean, honestly, it really is no other explanation for it. One is the truth and one is the lie. That's why they're calling both of them the same. One is the truth, one is the lie. And Satan perverts everything that God puts out there. Let me see what else I tell. I did write some notes down. Yeah, how Satan wants to be Jesus, perversions of the truth. God speaks to us mainly in the morning times. That's when those spiritual hours, when he speaks to us. Also, I was just thinking, also is how when today I was just like, it was stuff just coming to me. It's like, man, morning star, like God speaks to us. We dream at night. That's really one of the main ways how God speaks to us is through dreams. When we dream, he speaks to us and it's for us to ask for the interpretation. And also that's when he can download us when we're calm, we ain't doing nothing. He can speak to our subconscious mind, speaks to our spirit, speaks to our soul, and everything is just free. And over the time, and that's why it's a difference between meditating on the word and different types of meditation. That's a whole nother subject. But you can literally go into the spiritual realm and ask and just release and just let God speak to you, speak to your soul. And it takes, spending time with him for those things to happen. But the morning, that's the time that he could really download things to us, can really give us the word. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, dang, you notice that a lot of bad and evil stuff happen at night, late mornings, early morning. I mean, late night, early mornings. That's when people are out getting killed, and people are dying, and robberies. All of this happened. That's when Satan is really. That's when the spiritual things are really happening, late night, early morning. And I got that revelation this morning. I was like, wow, that make a lot of sense. And I was just telling my cousin last week, I was like, man, it's crazy how we go to sleep and wake up when somebody didn't die. You ever notice that somebody's always dying when we sleep? Or something always bad happen overnight? Because that's when a lot of spiritual warfare is going on. And, I learned to just, keep it simple. When God gave it to me, just keep it simple. That was the first thing. Exactly. Those are those times. Those are the times, bro. For real. Like, I'm trying to just think of some drawn out answer, but honestly, it's just simple. When I ask God for what that means, why they're calling Lucifer morning star and calling Jesus morning star, he simply said really one word, but it just gave me a bunch of things. And he says perversion. How Satan wanted to be like God. That's the reason he was kicked out of heaven. So he gave him that title. And then Jesus said the same thing, that he's the truth. Satan perverted everything. Look at Satan. Another thing that God gave me. Just thinking about, look how in the book of Genesis, how Satan deceived Eve. He didn't lie. Satan did. The serpent didn't lie. Satan spoke the word and told Eve, "Who said you can't eat this fruit?" No, he don't want you to eat this fruit because you would know the difference between good and evil. You would have the knowledge of good and evil. That was the absolute truth. But what it was, he manipulated her to tell her, "Hey, you can eat this." See, Satan knows the word. Satan told her the truth, but he is just a little piece of lie in there that would throw it off. That was a prime. That's what he gave me this moment. I was like, wow, that just hit on point. He didn't lie to her. The serpent didn't lie to her. Satan didn't lie to her in the garden. He told her, you eat from this fruit, you would know the difference between good and evil. What it is are you asking is like Lucifer, like, because he definitely ruling what's going on here on earth. He this is where he's at until judgment, until he go to the pit. That's why he's here now on earth trying to take as many souls. What if Lucifer is the morning star over earth until Revelation when Jesus returned? I believe that. I mean, I think that's why the world now is the way it is. This is his playground. This is what Jesus allowed this to. I mean, God allowed this to happen. This is where I mean, that's why I mean, it's in the word. It actually says that Lucifer is the ruler of this world, of this world. So he's trying to take as many souls as possible for when judgment day, he can take them all to the pit. What I know and what I've learned is the devil can only do what we believe. He can only hurt us in what we believe. God allowed things to happen. Like if God don't want it to happen, it ain't gonna happen. He allowed things to happen is, the testing of our faith. That's why you notice that Satan. Yeah, let's definitely talk. Let's definitely talk. I didn't want to draw this one out, but this was a good one, man. It's really been on my mind all day, and I was like, man, so much was coming to me. I was like, Lord, just allow me to get it out. But that's a good subject, man. And that's why I've been really working to read more. I know we got some more people here too. That's why I've been working to read more so that I can have better understanding. I'm growing, every day, man. Um, every day. But I really take time and start to read more so that I'll be able to answer these questions right from God. And it's nothing other than I never looked this up other than last night looked at those two verses, and then I read the verses before that and after that. And I want to be able to answer those difficult questions that a lot of other Christians, can't answer or scared to answer. And what I realize is a lot of times they don't answer questions because they're trying to make it so complex versus, simply what it is. You ain't got, if you don't know the answer, don't answer. If I don't know the answer, I ain't gonna answer. A lot of times we want to have the answer. I'd rather just shut up if I don't know. If it makes me think, I'd rather just shut up and ask God, what is the answer to that? How do I answer that? Because all my answers from this is literally from Him and what He give me. But yeah, I hope who else hopped on, man. I hope this video helped. Just look at the truth and the lie, and know that Satan is a counterfeit of the truth. So yeah, bro, call me. We can hop on a call right now, man. I ain't doing that. Let's talk, man. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming on. I know this video was pretty long, and I was going over a lot of the same stuff, but I hoping that somebody got revelation from this. And God told me to definitely go live because others have questions. But others also need to know, the truth and need to know the difference between the two and how there's so many things that's perverted out here in the world that looks like the truth and it's not the truth. So this was a perfect topic to discuss on why they call Jesus Morning Star and why they call Satan Morning Star.